Assalamualaikum dear students. My name is Mrs. Sufia Jhangir from Army Public School and College, Ordnance Road, Rawalpindi. Today our lecture is about effect of temperature on solubility. It is on page number 20 of your PDF file. In the previous lecture, you have a clear concept and you know very well about the solubility. The solubility of a solute depends upon temperature. Temperature affects the solubility of a solute in three ways. Number one, the solubility of some compounds increases with the increase of temperature. For example, potassium nitrate, sugar, etc. There are also many other examples like sodium nitrate, KBr, ammonium chloride, etc. All these are the examples of ionic compounds, and you have studied about ionic compounds in chapter number 4. Dear students, now you must know the reason behind this. During dissolution process, sometimes it happens that when you dissolve a solute in a solvent, energy is absorbed. This type of dissolution process is called endothermic dissolution. Endothermic means when the temperature goes down. Now I am making it simple and easy to understand. If you dissolve a solute in a solvent, in a beaker or in any container, if the container becomes cold, how will you come to know that the container becomes cold? You will touch the container. If you will touch the container, if you feel it cold, it means while dissolution, the solute has absorbed heat from the surrounding. The surrounding of the solution is now the beaker. In these cases, when the temperature is increased, the solubility increases. It means there's a very direct relationship between the temperature and solubility. You can clearly observe it in a graph in the form of a rising curve. This graph shows a variation of solubility with temperature, in which we have plotted the temperature on the x-axis in the centigrade scale and the solubility on y-axis, and the solubility is mentioned as the grams of solute per 100 grams of solvent. You have studied it in the previous lecture. Now I will discuss the second effect of temperature on solubility. Okay, this is the opposite of the first effect. In this case, it is the solubility of some compounds decreases with the increase of temperature. For example, sodium sulfate, calcium carbonate, calcium hydroxide, etc. It means if we dissolve these compounds in water, if we increase the temperature, their solubility decreases. Now, again, we will discuss the reason for this. During dissolution process, sometimes it happens that when a solute is dissolved in a solvent, energy is released. How we will come to know that energy is released? If you touch the container, if you feel the container, it is hot, it means energy is released. This type of dissolution process is called as exothermic dissolution. It is opposite to the endothermic dissolution, which I have told you in the first case, in the first effect. Exothermic means temperature goes up. Temperature goes up means the temperature rises. So by a simple way, you can understand it that if the container is becoming hot, it means this is an exothermic dissolution and the heat is released in the surrounding. In this case, the temperature and solubility, they have an inverse relationship. If we increase the temperature of such type of solution, solubility will decrease, because these solutes are more soluble in cold water than in hot water. Now again, look at the graph. Students, now you will observe a falling curve. This falling curve is shown by sodium sulfate. It explains all this detail that a falling curve means if you are increasing the temperature, the solubility of such type of compounds is decreasing. Dear students, now I am coming to the third effect of temperature on the solubility, and it is that there are certain compounds whose solubility does not change by the increase or decrease of temperature, and the examples of these compounds are sodium chloride, potassium sulfate, etc. In such type of dissolution processes, either a very small energy is absorbed or very small energy is released, which you cannot detect by touching your hand with the container. So whether you increase or decrease the temperature, NaCl neither dissolves more nor dissolves less. Rather, the solubility remains constant. So this whole phenomena you can observe again in the graph. It is observed that as a very straight line in the graph. This straight line shows if you are increasing the temperature or you are decreasing the temperature, the solubility of NaCl remains constant. Dear students, so this was all about the temperature on solubility. Interaction of solute and solvent. It is on page number 19 of your PDF file. Students, in the starting lectures of this chapter, you have studied in detail and you also know very well the definitions of solute and solvent. Now we are coming to our topic, which is interaction of solute and solvent. Solute-solvent interaction means when a solute is dissolved in a solvent, some changes take place in the solute and some changes also take place in the solvent. The intermolecular attractions between the solute particles, they are broken down. Likewise, in a similar way, these attractive forces are also broken down in the solvent molecules. New attractive forces are developed between solute and solvent. In this way, a solute gets dissolved in a solvent. This is called solute-solvent interaction. There are two types of solute-solvent interactions. The first is dissolution due to hydration, and the second is dissolution due to hydrogen bonding. We will study both these processes one by one. In this lecture, we will study only the first process, which is dissolution due to hydration. Dear students, when you are considering the solubility of a substance, you must know the basic rule for this. I think you have also studied it earlier in the topic of solubility, but again I am explaining you in detail. Like dissolves like. If you are dissolving any substance, any solute in a solvent, there is a rule which is followed, which is like dissolves like. It means polar solutes are soluble in polar solvents and non-polar solutes are soluble in non-polar solvents. Now we will start with our first process, that is dissolution due to hydration. So when any ionic compound is placed in the polar solvent and it gets dissolved due to hydration process, this process is called as dissolution due to hydration. For example, NaCl dissolved in water. You know very well, you have studied in chapter number 4 that NaCl is an ionic compound, and you are also familiar with the water, that water is a polar compound, polar solvent. I am frequently using the terms polar and non-polar. Dear students, I think you are familiar with these terms and you have also studied them in chapter number 4. Anyhow, I am repeating them again, the definitions of polar and non-polar substances, because we will continuously use these terms in our explanation. Polar substances are those which have partial positive and partial negative charges on them. For example, water. I have quoted a very common example which you have studied in almost all the chapters. So it is water. And the non-polar substances are those which don't have any partial positive or any partial negative charge on them. For example, hydrogen gas, oxygen gas, etc. There are so many other examples, but I have quoted the most common examples so that you must have a clear concept of polar and non-polar compounds. Now we are returning back to our main topic, which is dissolution due to hydration. When NaCl is dissolved in water, it is ionized. Ionized means it is converted into sodium ions and chloride ions. These ions can now move freely you know very well. In water, oxygen is present in the center and two hydrogens are present surrounding it. Due to greater electronegativity, oxygen atom acquires partial negative charge, and comparatively due to less electronegativity, hydrogen atom acquires partial positive charge. Students, now I am explaining you a very important concept. So listen it very carefully. The negative end of water molecule, which is the oxygen part, attracts sodium ions, and the positive end of water molecule, which is the hydrogen part, attracts chloride ions with some intermolecular force. In this way, 6 water molecules surround one chloride ion, and again 6 water molecules surround one sodium ion. Now clusters are formed. Clusters means bunch. Now clusters are formed which are called hydrates, and this whole phenomena is called hydration. So in this way, whenever we are going to dissolve any ionic compound in water, so it gets dissolved because of hydration. So dear students, this was all about the dissolution by hydration. If you feel any problem in understanding this lecture, you can freely ask any question through WhatsApp number. Thank you so much.